HOA Karen used my driveway as a shortcut, so I turned it into a hedge maze. Update 2. That evening, as I sipped my coffee on the porch, I saw her SUV roll by slowly. She hadn't attempted to use my driveway since our last argument, but I could tell she was watching, waiting. She still believed the HOA would force me to take down the fence, and once they did, she'd be right back to her old ways. I just smiled to myself. Let her believe that. Let her think she had won. By the end of the week, the maze was complete. It still needed time to grow taller, but the pathways were already confusing enough to be effective. To add the final touch, I placed a small wooden sign near the entrance. Nothing too dramatic, just a simple, elegant message that read, "Shortcut closed. Welcome to the Maze of Doom." The next morning, I didn't have to wait long. I was inside enjoying my breakfast when I heard the familiar sound of Karen's SUV, the low rumble of the engine, the confident way she always sped into my driveway like she owned it. Except this time, she wasn't met with an open path. There was a long, satisfying silence, followed by the unmistakable sound of tires crunching against gravel as she hesitated. I imagined her sitting in her car, staring at the maze in confusion, trying to process what she was looking at. Then, as I expected, she made the worst possible decision. She drove in. I put down my coffee and walked over to the window, peeking out just in time to see her SUV disappear into the hedge maze. A grin stretched across my face. She was inside, and she had no idea what she had just gotten herself into. At first, everything seemed normal. She drove cautiously, probably thinking I had just rearranged the landscaping and left an open path somewhere. But within seconds, I saw the first sign of panic. Her brake lights flickered as she realized she was at a dead end. She backed up, tried another path. Another dead end. A few seconds later, the real fun began. She started reversing too quickly, almost hitting one of the hedges. Then she lurched forward again, turning sharply, only to find herself at another dead end. From my window, I could just barely make out the frustrated movement of her hands on the steering wheel. Then, the horn. One loud, angry blast, followed by another. I stifled a laugh. She was honking at my hedge maze like it was going to magically move out of her way. A few more minutes passed, and then I heard the door slam. Karen had given up trying to drive out. She was getting out of her car to navigate the maze on foot. Even better. I stepped outside, casually leaning against my porch railing as I watched her stomp around in frustration. She disappeared behind a hedge, then reappeared a moment later in the exact same spot she had started. She let out an angry groan, then turned another way, only to end up at the same dead end again. It was beautiful. I could see her reaching for her phone, probably to call the HOA, or even the police. But there wasn't much they could do. She wasn't trespassing in the traditional sense, she had entered on her own free will, and now she was paying the price for it. After another 10 minutes, she finally found her way out. Her hair was a mess, her face red with anger, and the second she saw me, she stormed over, pointing an accusatory finger in my direction. "This," she hissed, "is harassment." I raised an eyebrow. "Harassment, Karen? I didn't force you to drive into the hedge maze. That was all you." Her eyes burned with fury. "You know exactly what you did. This is an abuse of landscaping. I'm reporting you to the HOA." I let out a low whistle. "An abuse of landscaping? That's a new one. Go ahead, Karen, report me."